challenge since you started in growing the business Nandos? For you personally?
I think the biggest challenge was really growing internationally, was really the size of the business. And I think probably the biggest challenge I had was probably 2 years ago in terms of the decision to step down as the group CEO. You know, because you obviously got a vision at the end of the day of saying, well, you know, you're going to take this business from 1,000 to 2,000. We had 1,000 restaurants today around the world in, say, 28 countries. You know, for me, our vision is to have fun and make money, change the way the world thinks about chicken, and change people's lives. We say one chicken at a time. You know? And then one chicken at a time talks about the humility of the business, talks about the fact that we're not going to speed it, do it fast. We're going to do it over the next 10, 15, 20 years. But the changing people's lives is where I'm passionate about. And to me, it's going deep in changing people's lives, as opposed to just shooting through and thinking that you changed a couple of lives. But you come across so many challenges, you know, and when you're talking to small businesses, money is always a challenge. You know, bankers are the worst people in the world. You find me a bank that will give you any money, you know, and I don't know what I'll find you, but they don't exist. I don't know what, it's like us not, guys are hungry, we're not selling chicken. But banks don't give money. I just don't know what I don't know, you know, what they do with it, but that didn't come to us, I can tell you now. It's only recently when we don't need it that they're throwing it at us. So I think when you've got a great product and you've got good people around you, you can find the money. And you know, you can be innovative in how you find the money. And I think we've learned more from our mistakes and from the challenges that we have from the victories that we've had. And I had a fantastic opportunity to meet Anton Rupert, Johan Rupert's dad, and he said to me, he'd rather be on the bottom of the mountain looking up than on the top of the mountain looking down. And I tell you, that was probably one of the most profound things that I've ever heard, because I'd rather be knowing the challenge. When you're at the top, and that's right, Nandos, we never think we're at the top. I mean, one of the things we don't do is we don't stand back, and sometimes, and I think part of we don't like reward ourselves enough.
You got Australia and the UK right. What were the changing points? What were the pivotal changing points?
We put the right CEOs in place, so that was firstly. Secondly, the CEOs really understood a little bit more about the Australian market. They understood the culture. You know, you can't go with a South African mindset. You can't take a business model from South Africa and transfer it into the UK or into Australia. Very, very different. You've got to understand the fundamental changes that are going to happen in your business. You've got to understand what can be changed and what can't be changed. What are the touch points? And what are the finesses that you want to change and you don't want to change? But the biggest factor was finding the right CEO that really got into the culture of the country.
Robbie, how did your family manage with you building an empire?
I've always encouraged our guys to have a balance. The last thing I ever want to be in business is successful in business, but unsuccessful at home. Okay, so, you know, it sounds nice and you've got trophy wives and 4 wives or whatever it is, etc. It sounds fantastic, okay? But that's not where the vision was for me. I never wanted to succeed in the one and fail in the other. So we've always tried to balance it. If you're enjoying what you're doing, and she can see that I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I think that also brings you closer. I'm not coming home miserable.
Do you think you've given up on your family life significantly?
I personally don't think so. We'd spend a lot of time in Africa with handing out malaria nets, and I've taken my son John T with me on handing out malaria nets, which had a huge impact in his life. And I think if you give them back that kind of reward, you know, it's a balance. So I've tried to be, and I've also tried to be home on weekends as much as possible. I don't have an office, eh? So I've never had an office. So you've got to understand what that means. You know, I try to have a clean desk, so I delegate everything. And I operate from a cell phone and from the internet. I'm good at finding good people that do good stuff.
Delegation.
Delegation. I can find the best people, and I can get the best people to work, to find a solution. You know, you ask me for a bit of copy or a bit of creative advertising. Jeez, I can't do that. I couldn't string 2 words together, but I can find somebody that can give you the best copy in 10 minutes.